Karlie Red is lighting the fuse to burn down Atlanta streets once more. Fans were already ecstatic after the latest Love and Hip Hop Atlanta trailer was released. But the chaos that followed was unanticipated. The whispers turned into screams when Karlie reportedly revealed to Rissett's real ones that Kirk Frost was living a second life. Indeed, Rashida's lover Kirk, who has already been embroiled in numerous controversies, is a competent writer, but was different, extended beyond allegations of infidelity. Wasn't just drama for the cameras, was intimate to porting. According to the online commotion, Karlie dropped a whole boiling kettle, the kind of receipts that made people skip ahead in the trailer and start investigating. There are stories of mysterious excursions, late-night meetings, secret money accounts, and even a second woman that no one expected. Furthermore, Kirk's silence is more powerful than words. Additionally, the trailer's portrayal of Karlie's sultry smile only served to fan the flames. Did she intend this? Was it revenge? Or is what Karlie is finally revealing previously known to Rashida? Buckle up. Atlanta is about to explode again if the stories are true. Karlie Red has a talent for making things interesting, but this time her actions sent a shockwave through Atlanta that no other had. When the most recent Love and Hip Hop Atlanta trailer was released, fans expected chaos. No one was prepared for what happened next. There were undoubtedly some dramatic moments, some sincere admissions, and maybe even a few suspicious looks across the reunion couch. In just a few seconds of trailer time, Karlie was able to completely alter the plot. Her face was devoid of hostility. It showed no signs of grief. It radiated calm confidence. The confidence that comes solely from knowing that you have the truth. It was also reported that she was... Rumors began to spread as soon as onlookers noticed her carrying what looked to be a heavy manila folder. Lips pursed, eyes locked on Kirk Frost. Despite the film's limited audio, viewers were able to interpret her lips and body language, which was enough to spark social media discussion. Some claim she screamed, "You lied to everyone." Others claim they heard her add, "I've got the proof." Within hours, the phrase Kirk's double life gained popularity, and supporters said it was enough to ignite a fire. As if they were professional detectives, they started piecing together clues from past seasons. These were not fresh rumors. For a long time, there has been speculation regarding Kirk Frost. He has a history of questionable choices, ranging from infidelity to concealment. What made this occurrence unique, though, was the source of the alleged facts. Karlie wasn't the only cast member. She has a past with Kirk. She was adept at tracking down receipts. Okay, she had a reason above all. The foundation laid by years of side-eye glances, uneasy silence during group sessions. An unanticipated tension between her and Rashida was too strong for viewers to ignore. As a result, when she allegedly brought documents, screenshots, and phone records to the reunion, it felt like the moment everyone had been waiting for. Fans on the internet started analyzing potential timelines. During season 9, when Kirk disappeared, for a few days without a reason, a Twitter user posted screenshots and observed that Karlie had been oddly quiet. Karlie hinted that some people keep secrets because they're afraid of what would happen if the truth were out in a previous after-show interview. Footage from that interview was discovered by another admirer. Right now, no one thought about it. It suddenly felt like a warning as word got out. Information began to emerge from those involved in the initiative. It was enough to keep the enthusiasm going, but of course, there was no confirmation. One report claims that flight invoices discovered in Karlie's folder revealed that Kirk occasionally flew alone while claiming to be on family holidays, under a name that appeared uncannily similar to one Kirk had previously denied having another mentioned hotel arrangements. The major disclosure involved alleged text exchanges between Kirk and a lady who referred to him as her man. Even though he was still very much married to Rashida, the supporters absolutely went crazy at that time. The comment sections were filled with shock, support for Rashida, and outrage at Kirk's silence. But it was all the more terrible because Karlie seemed calm throughout it all. No shouting or showy outbursts, just a cool-headed attitude. It was the elegance that only comes when you realize you've been holding something important inside for a long time, waiting for the ideal moment to let it out. Behind-the-scenes tensions were reportedly at an all-time high. Kirk, who usually stays quiet during dramatic scenes, reportedly left the set in the middle of the shoot and refused to comment. Some expected this, while the rest of the group responded, with light smirks and wide-eyed amazement, while Rashida, visibly shaken, was captured on camera, departing with her microphone still on and stating, "I need a minute." Others were unaware, yet no one could turn away. What made things worse was the timing of the incident. This was no typical season. It was supposed to be the tale of atonement, the reunion of old friends, and the great comeback. It's a chance for Kirk and Rashida to finally move on after years of ups and downs. But as Karlie came center stage and seemingly spilled the beans, the entire mood altered. The focus suddenly shifted away from reconciliation. They were accounting for it. In contrast, the supporters lived for it. Memes started to emerge in a matter of hours. While some praise Karlie for finally exposing Kirk's thoughts, others condemn him for them. He may keep skeletons buried in 2025. Fan pages started counting down the seconds until the full show was released, as though it were a national event. Throughout it all, Karlie kept quiet on social media, letting the rumors and the video do the talking. Insiders, however, said that beneath all the chaos shown on tape, more was simmering. Karlie had more than what she seemed to have on camera, according to clues from others involved in the matter. Think of it as a teaser. The real dirt was claimed to be in messages too explicit and revealing to even air. According to reports, producers were desperately trying to balance dramatic television with potentially hazardous legal difficulties. Kirk also allegedly threatened to cancel the entire season if the footage wasn't handled properly. But right now, respect might be the last thing anyone gets. As the commotion increased, so did the speculation about Kirk's second life. The questions started to pile up. Who was the other woman? Was she still in the picture? Before Karlie made this public, did Rashida know anything about it? More importantly, why now? That last question was the subject of much fan speculation. Others believed Karlie had been clinging to years of expertise in preparation for the perfect moment. Others conjectured that she might not have been able to remain silent because she had only recently discovered it. Some even questioned whether she was retaliating against Kirk for an off-camera event that only the crew and cast knew about. Whatever the reason, one thing was clear. Karlie's transfer has changed the mood of the entire season. There was more at risk than just drama. The primary objectives were accountability, exposure, and web deconstruction. For years, Kirk had been weaving. And as more videos, leaks, and responses surfaced online, it felt like the walls were slowly closing in. Karlie had lost the match. Now everyone was just watching how far the fire had spread. Tension was stronger than ever backstage. The cameras hadn't started rolling when security was told to stay close to the changing areas. Karlie reportedly requested a private moment with production, but no one was certain of what she would want. The gossip quickly got out. Some crew members whispered that she intended to show more evidence off camera. Others claimed she was seeking protection after receiving secret threats. There was nothing certain except this. She had brought something. That day, it was more than simply TV. It was personal. By the time the reunion videos resumed, the whole cast was on edge. Kirk did not return to his seat. Sitting alone and staring into space, Rashida fidgeted with her rings as though trying to gather herself. On the days when the host tried to change the topic, fans noticed how uncomfortable everyone seemed. But Karlie sat up straight, looking she had been waiting for this moment her entire life. Eventually, a never-before-seen video of her holding A single printed paragraph and speaking directly to the host was leaked. Between her fingertips was a message. Despite her calm demeanor, her remarks were insightful. Her words, "It's not about small-time drama. The protagonist of the story is a guy who, in the belief that he can carry on with his life as if nothing had happened, deceives both his wife and the outside world." There was silence in the studio. Online, fans started posting the freeze frames from the teaser and contrasting them with historical occurrences. According to one side-by-side comparison, Kirk wore the same attire in a hotel room photo as. The alignment of the stamps was off. The internet developed as its own investigative agency. Discussions on Reddit were rife with theories, timeframes, and assumptions regarding the identity of the mystery woman. Then came the alleged voicemail. Others close to Karlie said that a voice note rather than a text that was preserved from months ago was one of her most damning pieces of evidence. Link the tape with any known woman who had previously been associated with Kirk. Fans immediately began comparing sounds. With a charming southern accent, the woman in it supposedly said, "I know you have to play husband on TV, but I'm tired of being your secret." It evolved into a serious manhunt. The manhunt has been blown. Furthermore, Kirk's silence told a different story than Rashida's social media posts. Within hours of the trailer becoming viral, she unfollowed Kirk on Instagram. The time frame was undeniable. Her stream was flooded with comments when she posted a cryptic narrative with a dark screen and white text that read, "Loyalty doesn't have a reset button." Fans went nuts. There were notes of encouragement and anger. Not only at Kirk, but also at the length of time Rashida had supposedly suffered in silence. The actors began to react as well. While not everyone was cheering, some fans felt Karlie's timing was too cold and calculated, pointing out how the trailer suggested she would drop the receipts just as Kirk and Rashida were trying to rebuild. Erica Mena liked several tweets that supported Karlie, including one from Spice that said, "Sometimes the truth doesn't come out until people get tired of holding it in." One user wrote, "This feels like sabotage, not sisterhood." While others responded, "The truth can never be bad timing." Jan Dundee even voiced her opinion on a podcast interview, adding, "I respect a woman who brings the truth with proof, but I'm not trying to get in nobody's business. It's just inconvenient when it dispels a lie." Then another twist appeared. Unbeknownst to most viewers, a woman named Tasha claimed on TikTok that she had been dating Kirk intermittently for 2 years. While her video lacked proof, it did include some personal information about Kirk's tattoos, sleeping habits, and favorite phrases that fans found troubling. "He always says, 'handling it,' when he's dodging responsibility," she said in her clip, and within hours, old footage of Kirk using that exact phrase in previous seasons started to circulate again, adding a whole new level of intrigue to the drama that was unfolding. More rumors, screenshots, and claims started to surface. One alleged ex claimed Kirk offered to fly her out to Miami in exchange for privacy. And another said he had promised to leave Rashida once the cameras were off. Production was reportedly scrambling. And while some executives loved the viral attention, others were worried that the storyline was becoming too messy, especially since Karlie had allegedly threatened to drop the full receipts online if her segment was aired. The louder the noise, the more people stayed silent. Sources say Rashida was devastated behind the scenes. Not only embarrassed, but broken. And she started questioning every business trip, late-night studio session, and moment Kirk had been unavailable. They said she was trying to keep it together for the cameras, but she knew she had the support of her fans behind closed doors. She's reevaluating everything. What hurt most, according to those close to her, was not the betrayal, but who exposed it. Producers reportedly had to stop filming multiple times because of emotional breakdowns as the episode progressed. And one crew member overheard Rashida say, "I just feel stupid. I always stood up for him." Conversely, KRL1E maintained, "His stony face, fans sensed the tension even though none of this was shown in the teaser. She just handed up her proof and stated, "Do with it what you want," without shouting or crying. Unless specific material was eliminated, she wouldn't go back to the set. It wasn't the delivery. In some ways, it was more impactful because they were expecting it to be more cold and intentional. Once notorious for her messy antics and intermittent romances, Karlie was now being referred to as Season 13's truth-bearer. She was not viewed as a hero by everyone, though, and some people still questioned why she did it. It was reasonable for one blogger to wonder, was really about Rashida? Or was this about revenge? Given Kirk and Karlie's past together, which had never been properly discussed over the years, there had been difficult conversations, underlying hostility, and rumors of intimate relationships underneath the surface. People began to question, was this about justice or getting even? As the hours passed, the lines became more hazy. Fans took sides, online arguments raged, and as the actors returned to their homes and phones, it became painfully clear that was far from being over. It was no longer just a plot line. Fans were no longer just watching the show. They were examining it like a crime scene, creating timelines and whatever happened next. Everyone knew that the truth was out and that nothing would be the same again. In the 24 hours after the trailer was released, fan theories evolved into full-fledged investigations, with bloggers hosting Instagram lives that examined every word from Karlie's mouth, every reaction shot from Rashida, and every blink from Kirk. Producers were forced to change course, sending a replacement camera crew to his car after he refused to leave the parking lot. The phrase "Karlie dropped the receipts" was at the center of the viral clip compilations. But what really escalated the situation was what was happening off-screen. Several cast members had stopped talking. And Kirk didn't just ignore the situation. He allegedly refused to film a planned confessional scene. Karlie appeared to stand in the middle of the storm, unaffected, unbothered, and eerily serene while all of this unfolded. It was no longer just sadness, but the realization that the life she thought she had built might have been supported by falsehoods. A source on set said that Kirk was pacing, obviously stressed, and muttering to himself. Rashida, on the other hand, stayed away. People who saw her behind the scenes said she wasn't yelling or lashing out. Instead, she was quiet and withdrawn. One of the makeup artists reportedly overheard her say, "I don't even know who I married." One particularly popular theory focused on a scene from season 11, in which Karlie made a cryptic remark to Kirk during a heated argument, "You better hope your secrets stay buried." She wasn't posting, and she wasn't responding to the chaos. At the time, viewers thought it was a casual remark, but now it seemed prophetic. Fans started analyzing her in previous episodes, pointing out every comment, smirk, and small moment that now seemed to be a breadcrumb she had dropped on the way to this final reveal. It was too much for fans to handle, and when an anonymous blog posted what they claimed were emails between Kirk and a booking agent under a fictitious name, suggesting private out-of-town appearances and special requests, fans assumed the emails were code for a covert meeting. Nothing was confirmed, but the damage was done, and Kirk's already damaged reputation was further tarnished. But what really set things off was the sudden appearance of another woman who came forward online, claiming to have been dating Kirk for nearly a year, and backed up by screenshots. Fans were shaken by texts that showed flirtation, hotel arrangements, and most damning of all, messages where Kirk allegedly told her not to post any photos of them together because of the show. This woman didn't seem to want fame, nor did she ask for followers or clout. She just posted her story, dropped the screenshots, and disappeared. The notion that Kirk was leading a double life was no longer just a theory, was becoming something that fans believed, and worse, something Rashida might finally do. In a behind-the-scenes conversation, Bambi allegedly called the whole situation messy, without any justification, according to one insider saying that there is a way to tell the truth without trying to ruin someone's family. Scrappy was even rumored to have confronted Kirk in private, allegedly asking him, "Is any of this true?" The answer Kirk gave wasn't shared, but the look on his face, according to the source, was enough to answer everything. Scrappy was later seen filming a one-on-one confessional where he looked visibly disappointed, shaking his head and saying, "Man, we're too grown for this." Then came it's a shaky behind-the-scenes video that must have been filmed by someone on the crew, showing Karlie and Rashida leaving a private area. "It's not official or polished." Rashida murmurs, "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" After a moment of stillness, Karlie pauses, looks back, and adds, "Because you wouldn't have believed me." There is a lengthy, uncomfortable silence without any shouting or sobbing. "Have you trusted me?" After that, she stops, turns around, and says, "Because you wouldn't have believed me." This one line, which wasn't from the main episode and wasn't accompanied by dramatic editing or music, caused a stir on the internet, with fans expressing sympathy for Rashida in the comments section and being perplexed about Karlie's true intentions. Some felt that she had waited too long and that if she truly cared about Rashida, she would have spoken up before the cameras began. 2. Kirk's businesses started to feel the heat back in the real world. One of his restaurants reportedly received a wave of negative online reviews, not about the food, but about his character, and people were upset, disappointed, and ready to cancel him. Some viewers claimed that the receipts were inflated. Fans who had previously cheered for Kirk and Rashida's rebuild storyline now felt as though they had been duped. "How many times are we going to support a man who keeps doing the same dirt?" One viewer wrote, "People defending Kirk." The loudest sound in all of this was Rashida's silence. No interviews, no answers, no remarks. Fans kept coming back to her website hoping to see something, anything, but nothing materialized. Some argued that was just done for ratings. We never actually saw the full proof. Suddenly, the voices were muffled by the massive shout of onlookers, who thought the truth had finally been revealed after being kept secret for far too long. Perhaps that was the strongest response of all. The world listened to her when she let the truth, or at least her version of it, speak for itself. And the silence and the receipts gave the impression that a reality TV moment had crept into everyday life and that it was no longer about amusement but treachery. There are no words to describe the pain. Reality has been rocked. As for Karlie, there was no denying her strength at this time. No gloating to do and no patheticness. She was simply standing tall in the middle of a hurricane she had unleashed. The cause was exposure. It was heartache. And no matter how hard the network tried to control the aftermath, the damage had already been done. Too many people had seen, felt, and believed it. There was no turning back now. No one could have predicted the depth of the cracks. It had only been a spark, the trailer, but now everything was being consumed by the flames. Production was officially in disarray and scenes involving tires had to be rewritten. The network was caught up in a storm they didn't fully anticipate, as the cast members either refused to appear on camera or insisted on seeing their video beforehand, so scheduled interviews were canceled. Yes, they wanted ratings, but not it. The expense of on-screen relationships breaking down and the entire cast having tantrums. But that's exactly what was happening. Additional information leaked by insiders of the production crew showed a complete breakdown, with reports claiming that Kirk had threatened to sue if specific footage was shown, even calling the network's lawyers and demanding that all of the scenes with Karlie's evidence be removed. The network was forced into a precarious dance as she refused to accept it, allegedly threatening to post her narrative online. Uncut, unfiltered, and harsh. If producers tried to reduce it or cut her out, Karlie, on the other hand, had just delivered the most significant scandal the series had witnessed in a long time, and Rashida, the show's protagonist for many viewers, was suddenly ensnared in a public nightmare. Supporters weren't letting this go, which only made matters worse. On social media, there was no progress, and hashtags like #Rashida continued to be popular for days, and they created timelines, cross-referenced dates, and uncovered old footage. And they started to see the problems with the entire plot that the show had been trying to sell for seasons. Not just Kirk's story, because the betrayal this time included screenshots, voice messages, receipts, and other facts. Fans accepted it because it came from someone who had nothing to lose and everything to prove. And Kirk and Rashida were the power couple who overcame all obstacles. Rashida's emotional state was still deteriorating backstage. One source claims that she refused to share a dressing room with Kirk, that she asked to be filmed separately for the rest of the season, and that she doesn't even want to be near Kirk. Another crew source claims that she had long off-camera conversations with producers and close friends on set, saying, "It's not about anger anymore." She once commented, "I should have known that it's about pain." Someone who heard her said, "I just didn't want to see it." And because Rashida had made a name for herself as the strong one and the loyal wife that really got to the people, it's either ride or die. The ride had now crashed in the most obvious way possible. Karlie, on the other hand, was unusually quiet. She had nothing to boast about. She wasn't making shady comments or posting more hints online. And she stayed silent, which made the situation more realistic. In the past, Karlie would have been loud, messy, and chaotic. But in this version, she had left without saying anything. Rashida reportedly resisted Spice's attempt to get her and Karlie into a room together off camera without producers, saying, "I don't want her near me." All right, after that, no one pushed it. Even Mimi, who was unrelated to the incident, posted a mysterious statement that admirers couldn't ignore. "Sometimes it's not about who told the truth," she said. Fans immediately flooded her page with comments, saying, "It's about how long you've been living with the lie. Wait until now to speak out." Some saw it as a subliminal reference to Karlie's decision as well. Others believed it was a warning from someone who had seen too much to keep quiet. Then something new happened. Rumor has it that a member of Kirk's close circle anonymously contacted a gossip blog and disclosed that Kirk had rules. Always use cash. Avoid meeting the women in Atlanta and don't allow them to publish pictures. Fans took these unsubstantiated claims as more proof that the pattern had been there from the start, and it was Karlie, by chance, who finally said it out loud. More blurry images started to surface. Lori's illusion, though damage was already done, but some even doubted their sincerity. Officially, Kirk's reputation was in ruins. What had been dismissed as old news was now being viewed as a skillfully constructed lie. But what caught people off guard the most was the latest trailer clip, which was not in the original preview. No dramatic zoom, no background music. Just agony as Rashida sits alone without makeup or glitter, looking into the camera and saying, "Maybe I was too loyal to someone who never deserved it." Pure, genuine, and completely unaltered. In that moment, everything changed. Fans who had never seen Rashida like that before flooded in comments saying, "Not the boss chick with the stylish lines and the perfect hair, but vulnerable and shattered. Just a woman who learned it had all been for naught after believing in someone for too long." Some fans demanded accountability from the network, asking why Kirk was still allowed to appear on the show, why no one had stepped in, and why Rashida was left on the receiving end of the emotional burden while Kirk was allowed to remain silent. Others accused her of taking advantage of the situation and said she only spoke up when it would benefit her the most. Despite all the chaos, one thing was clear in the heated dispute. Once the truth was out, there was no turning back. Even normally, circumspect bloggers began attacking Kirk directly, questioning his silence, his refusal to speak, and his avoidance of the subject. This isn't about TV anymore. Accountability is at issue here. Kirk remained silent, though, because on reality TV, it's almost always assumed that silence equates to guilt. The harm was already irreversible before the entire season had even been broadcast. A marriage that might not weather the storm. friendships damaged, and trust shattered, all because one woman had had enough. Fans filled in the blanks and assumed the worst during that silence. As a result, they took the rumors seriously. Additionally, Karlie's influence was undeniable, even though her motivations would remain debatable. The real question today is, what will happen once the dust settles and the truth, or at least some of it, is revealed? Will this be the last time Rashida leaves Kirk, or will she try to put the pieces back together again? Will Kirk eventually come up and explain his position, or will he remain silent? She had changed the plot of the program, lives, and facts that had been kept out of the public eye for far too long. It was disorganized, it hurt, it was uncooked, and it was real above all else. Shout louder than words could. What about Karlie? Did she want her moment in the spotlight or justice? Does she light the match and watch everything burn, or is she the hero? Fans continue to argue, nothing feels settled, and the internet is still buzzing. No one knows everything, but everyone has an opinion. Not quite yet. It's clear that the 13th season of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta has drastically altered the course of events. And not just for the cameras. No more. It's tearing apart relationships, reputations, and long-held illusions. But we want to hear from you now. Do you think Karlie was right to expose Kirk's alleged double life? Is there anything left to fight for? Or should Rashida give up? What do you think Kirk is hiding by keeping quiet? This conversation is far from over. So please share your thoughts in the comments section below. If you're as shaken as we are, don't forget to like the video. If you want to be the first to know every turn, hit the bell and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Each and every explosive incident. Have faith. We're just getting started. It's that this time of year? It's not. It's not.